Hope you're having the greatest day. This is going to be your podcast in spurts this week because this is what I got. That's what I got. And I'm going to share all my feelings and all the things that have happened. And it might happen over a couple of days. So we ain't in studio this week. We ain't got a microphone. We ain't professional. But you know what? That's why y'all love me. I show up real. I show up myself. We breathing. So today, y'all, I just have to tell you. Today, by the way, let me start here. I'm wearing my 49ers shirt because the 49ers is one of the teams that I work with, and I'm super proud of them considering everything that they have been through, all the injuries, everything, and they just keep going. But the Jags are also one of my teams, and I was just with the rookies in November, and my heart was broken for them. And as I often say as a sports fan, that you wish sometimes that you know, the games that are so close that rip your heart out, you're like, man, I just wish there's a small part of me that wishes we just would have gotten beat outright, right? Like beat outright versus it coming so close. But my heart hurt for this area, for a long time Jags fans, because I'm a fan, because of the people that I know inside the building, the players, the player engagement, everybody that I know, the front desk people, everybody that I know there is just so wonderful. So my heart is hurt for them. And I want to say this about that. If you have not caught the kerfluffle, and I love my words because I'm a reader. And the other day, as a matter of fact, my husband and I were having dinner with another couple that we're friends with, that we double date with, and it's awesome. That he said, oh yeah, my wife, he said, she reads 2 books a week. Now, I don't know if I read 2 books a week, maybe a book a week, one every 2 weeks, but it was just like, I went, my husband thinks I am really smart and to brag on me like that. So kerfluffle. But I don't know if you've heard the kerfluffle about Lynn Jones, the longtime Black reporter, Black media, Black-owned newspaper in Jacksonville, long-time reporter that took 17 seconds, I think it was, something like that, to build up Liam Coen, okay? And very soon after, I heard people, and I'm going to come at this from a very, I'm not passionate about it anymore. I'm so passionate about it, but I'm not, worked up about it. Come at it from a very just moderate, logical, realistic place. And so one, I can speak on this because if you don't know, I'm going to turn this light on. And this is from a company called Brainlit. My husband has worked with them, and it helps get vitamin D into your system. And they do lights, and they do lighting, installation, a lot of sports teams. But anyway, because I didn't get to go outside, and I've been learning a lot. Here's my ADHD brain, but you'll know I always circle the plane back. Been learning a lot in the new year about going outside, first 15 minutes a day, looking east, and getting sun into your eyeballs. Helps your circadian rhythm, helps your hormones. It helps everything, all your mitochondria, your cells, your everything. So I haven't been able to be outside, so I'm sitting under this Brainlit. If you're interested in Brainlit, I'll drop a link below, and I will send you to my friend Robbie. If you're building any sort of athletic facility, locker room, office, and did you know that in 2026, I saw a study that Harvard said that more and more companies are interested in the total wellness of their employees, considering everything that's going on with AI. People are paying more attention to the whole full wellness of their companies. So if you want that information, Brainlit. Link in the notes. But Lynn Jones, she takes 17 seconds, I think it was, to build up Liam Coen. And what I said was something like this, this was great, like all of it. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's all over everywhere. It's made it on Facebook and some Instagram, but I'm on Twitter because I used to be a reporter, so it's all over Twitter. Well, immediately I just said, all of it. You could see a man who was tired, he was exhausted. He was beat down. He had just lost a very close game on a heartbreaking play after the great season they had, his first season, y'all. And this woman, and I'm not going to call her auntie, I'm just going to call her this beautiful, and does it matter that it's a Black woman? Yes, because I have talked about, and we're going to insert it here in just a minute, about the magic of a Black woman. I have been talked to by a Black woman before, many, many times, and my whole spirit changed, my whole countenance changed, my whole everything changed. So we're going to pause right here and let me show you this old video I did when I was working with the Jags wives and girlfriends, about how Black women that day talked to me. Y'all, I just need to tell y'all something. Black women are magic. They're magic. They're magic. They're magic for our souls. I've always known this, and I mean, I'm a minority myself. I've always known this, but like, God has sent 3 Black women in the past less than 24 hours just to affirm my soul. Maybe it's actually 4. One that was like, baby girl, over the phone, I'm looking for, like dealing with something medical, baby girl, da 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 da. I just felt her warmth, like I felt it. And then and as I was walking into this Jags luncheon to speak, this girl stops the car, opens her door. She didn't even roll down the window, opens the door. She was like, oh my God, you look amazing. Then just now, trying to deal with another appointment, another girl, you got this, you got it. Oh yeah, she said, keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. She said, you know what? She said, I can't be going to hell. She said, Florida's hot. She said, hell's hotter. And she was just the warmth and the Jesus in her. So then I was just at the gas station, and I was checking out, and the girl's like, thank you, lovely. Thank you, pretty. And I was like, girl, you are so good for the world. And I want to say this, I just love Black women, period. And this is for a Black woman that ain't feeling very kind or warm right now, like the world has got you down. Girl, you got magic in you. Your soul is beautiful. You're amazing. You're kind. You're smart. And I hope I pray that the world's circumstances, this hard, heavy world, let up on you a little bit so that you can release that magic again to the world. You can release that goodness to the world. I just want to tell you, you're magic, even if you don't feel it right now. But to these particularly magic women that I just encountered over the last 24 hours, thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. Right? Did I tell you? So Lynn Jones takes 17 seconds, I think it was. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but just very few seconds to build up this man. And if you have ever been spoken to kindly by a Black woman, it is like honey for your soul. It is like somebody giving you breath when you're out of breath. Like somebody, I feel like, giving you that first, right? Like, when you're struggling for breath. It is the sugar in your sweet tea. It is the salt on your bland mashed potatoes. Like, there's something magic about Black women, like I said. And so she took a moment to be kind to him, okay? And what was interesting about it was there was a number of, and what I said in my Twitter post was, have you guys seen what's going on in the world? Have you guys felt it? Because we empaths, we feel it like deeply. I'm going to wipe this off. We feel it deeply in our soul, what is going on in the world. The Iranian people right now are trying to gain freedom. They are protesting over and over and over again, day after day. The Islamic regime there has shut down power. They're killing protesters, somewhere between 2,000 and 12,000. They are brave. Do you know, if you don't know and you listen to this podcast, if you don't know, back in the 70s, Iran was free. They were a free country, and they were a beautiful free country. That's going on. The stuff's still going on in Palestine and Israel. There is what just happened in Venezuela. There is, there are a million thousand things. There's stuff that happened in, obviously the issue in Minnesota and Renee Good and right? And I said in my post right after this happened, I said, have you seen the suicide rates? Have you seen what's going on in the world? Have you seen all the sadness? Have you seen the people that are just struggling to buy meat and put food on their table? Have you seen it? That a little kindness goes a long way. And I said, for those that are complaining about this or being ne'er-do-wells or being, oh, well, I would not do that. No, I would not do that. And I've respectfully argued with some of my former coworkers on the internet this week. And I said, dude, are you and what I said in my original post was, go look in the mirror, man. We need kindness. We need love. We need Lynn Jones, more Lynn Jones in all of us to heal our land, to heal us. We need it. The only way forward is healing, love, and kindness. Okay. And I said, the healers, the people like us we're going to be out here sowing seeds of kindness, and the rest of y'all need to get on board. Okay. So that's what I said. And then it continued to blow up, and it continued to blow up, and it continued to blow up. And a few of my reporter friends, people I know, people I sort of know, people I know well, there were a few that took a stand against it. And they said, hey, it has no place. Hey, they should have done that outside the room. Hey, they took away from, us, our opportunities to ask questions, or other people's opportunities to ask questions. And y'all, to their point, first of all, the amount of time that she said it, he didn't really have to say, he didn't say much. I think it was like I said, 17 seconds. It was very short, but you could see his whole countenance change. You could see I work with men, right? I work with men. I could see just the very faint eyes get a little bit, misty, right? Is it dusty in here? Is there onions in here? Cutting onions. I saw it. She didn't take away from nobody. And then somebody came up and basically said, they talked about the other questions that were asked, and they were the same questions, or they were not questions of consequence, right? Now, being fair, being measured, being balanced, I understand that other people have a job to do. I am not saying that Lynn Johnson do all of that, then say, well, what do you think? And then keep going again. But I will tell you that there is, as a woman in sports media, I was for 17 years, first female host on Sirius XM. If I got a chance to get that microphone, first of all, I am always thinking, what does my audience want to know? What does my audience want to know? And then I work backwards from there. I'm giving you tips because I used to coach sportscasters. What does my audience want to know? I work backwards from there. Second of all, I am, if I got that microphone and I had 2 questions to ask, I would say 2 questions, coach, and I would ask the question, and I would do it without any shame. Because if I just happened, my hard work, they noticed me, whatever, then I was going to do it. Okay. Second of all, I think we're to the point in the world where we need kindness. I don't care what your professional decorum is, she didn't impede anybody else. If you listen to the questions that were asked beyond her, they were, and I'm no disrespect to people in there, but they were regurgitated, or they didn't give us any groundbreaking information. There weren't anything that you could go write a freaking report on. Okay. They just weren't. And I understand that sometimes they are. But again, 17 seconds of a press conference did not take away from anybody else. Period. End of story. And I'm always going to err on the side of caution. Kindness. I'm always going to err on the side of kindness. I also said in that post that my mom taught me that you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. And so even when I knew I was going to have to ask a tough question, I always approached it with dignity, kindness, and respect. I would, whatever you want to call it, butter them up, not butter them up, but I'm being funny, but I would be kind to them, right? You get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. I would not go at it. Well, no. Coach, you did this. I would try to open them up. I would try to soften it up. I would try to let them know that I did my research. I can't tell you how many times in an interview where somebody was like, oh, didn't really want to talk to me. And I would hit them with a fact that I had found on this 27th page of Google, or that I had found through talking to somebody who played with them, or that I found through doing deep research. And they went, and you can't see me if you're listening to them, but they were shocked. And they opened up like a flower because wow, this girl really does know her stuff. This girl really did research this interview. So I just found that. And some people, I'm not mad at these people that felt like they needed to take a stand, but I'm telling you, baby, they getting lambasted. They are getting lambasted. How about that word? On the internet. They get fried. They getting ratioed on the internet for taking this stand. Man, it's, did it hurt you? No. What question were you going to ask, baby, that was going to be so groundbreaking by Liam Coen? Sorry. And 3, have you seen the world today? Okay. And I'm glad that you operate by your journalistic integrity, but she didn't break any damn rules. She was just kind. She was just kind, y'all. She was just kind. Okay. That's what I have to say about that. I also am going to let the cat out of the bag. Baby, I am going to find Lynn Jones, and I'm going to invite her to the Joy Ball, because we are honoring several people in the area that are in their own way, that are contributing to the betterment of our mental health in this area. And baby, if Lynn Jones ain't contributing to the betterment of this area, I don't know who is. If you know a Black woman, let me give you some homework. I'm a takeaway speaker. If you know a Black woman that just encourages your soul, once you go to work, school, wherever it is tomorrow, in your home, your friend, make a call, make a text, send a carrier pigeon, just say, you are a Lynn Jones to me. You lift me up. You encourage my soul, man. Do it. Do it for Rachel. Say, I listen to this podcast called the Joystarters podcast, which, by the way, y'all, 75,000 plus downloads a month. Who are y'all? Who are y'all? I love you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So find a Black woman tomorrow and just tell her you're a Lynn Jones. And if she doesn't know who Lynn Jones is, send her the clip. You can find it. It is all over the internet. Find that clip and send it to him. I love you guys. When I get some more stamina, I'm going to tell you about this day and about a meeting. Forgive me, Dan, in advance. About a meeting that about 5 minutes in, I thought, man, with a retreat 38 days away, a book due, coaching an entire team with my company I'm consulting with. Do I have time to take this meeting with a new person? And God whispered to me, yes, you do. And 15 minutes of the meeting, I figured out why we were supposed to meet. And that is, he's going to bless 2 other people that I know. And I cried on the meeting. Just said, okay, I see what it was about, God. So I'm going to tell you that story. I'm going to tell you about all the good things happening with planning the retreat. And I am going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. I hope when you listen to this podcast that you have the courage to step out and do it. Something big, something audacious, something scary, because my whole goal in 2026, our 10-year anniversary of I'm Changing the Narrative, is just to encourage you and teach you to step out and be bold. Have I been afraid? Yes. Have I woke up in the middle of the night? Yes. Have I freaked out? Yes. Have I had things fail already? Yes. Will things fail between now and then? Yes. But have I also been overwhelmed by the fact that people are helping me, overwhelmed by the fact that people are being so kind to me, overwhelmed by the fact that I can't even fathom how much these people are loving me and being good to me and helping me. And sometimes I don't think I deserve it. Like their kindness to me and how they're helping me. But they are, and I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. So I'm going to take this break. This is going to go on our podcast promo. I'm just going to leave them there. I'm going to take this break. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you about my day, which was amazing, full of blessings, and also a phone call this afternoon. And I'm going to tell you about the letter. I need to take these off for this. I'm going to tell you about the letter that one of our kings wrote us about what we did for him through I'm Changing the Narrative Foundation, and why we need your support. Even if you cannot join us at the ball, even if you cannot be there, why we need your support. Tell somebody about us. Tell somebody we need to have her in to speak. And then I make a way for the other people in I'm Changing the Narrative to come speak. Tell somebody you need to go to a retreat next year. Give a donation. All of it goes straight to the nonprofit. There are a million ways you can support us. Share our content. Share our content. Read my book in your book club. There are many ways in which you can support us. And I'm going to tell you about my day and a guy named Jude and a guy named Dan. And I am going to tell you about this letter from one of our kings. And so thank you for letting me do the podcast this week. Just here in my living room, doing the best I can, giving all I got, being completely, beautifully overwhelmed in the best possible way, with love, with passion, with if you build it, they will come energy. And I just love y'all. I love y'all. All right, y'all. I promised you the end of the podcast. Obviously, everything looks different today. I have light. Oh, I am, it's a new day. Dwight is with me. If you are a fan of The Office, Dwight is with me. I have on my favorite earrings that always make me feel so happy and beautiful. A girlfriend of mine that I met made these for me. I met her while she was doing a mural, Standing Rock Indian Reservation. They are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I get so many compliments on them. Okay, so let me finish the podcast from yesterday and put this all together. First of all, I want to tell you this one little hair. I want to tell you the story of these. And I've had this happen to me 2 or 3 times in my life. So I was in Vegas speaking at the end of last year for a law enforcement deal with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And I left very, very early in the morning. I stuffed everything in there I could for like the 36 hours I was there, maybe 48, somewhere around in there. And I swore that I left these, and I was so sad. And let me tell y'all, I looked everywhere. I tore everything up. And have you ever had a situation where you swear you looked, you swore you tore things up, you swore all the things, and you could not find it, and then you went to look at another time and it was there? I've had it happen to me twice. Once with, it made me happy. Once with some jewelry that belonged to my mother that was given to me, and a ring from my precious Mr. May. And then this time, and I swear I looked in this bag over and over and over again. And as I was finishing up calls and getting ready to record this for the podcast this week, I looked in the bag for something else, and I saw them in the bottom of the bag, and I was like, because I knew I could see myself in my mind. I thought that I laid them on this ledge in the hotel, and then I just didn't grab them as I was leaving Vegas at like 3:30 in the morning, which is, different Eastern time. And that's what I swear I did. And I just had convinced myself. I called the hotel, I did all the things, and I had to mourn the loss of these earrings because they're just so special to me. And then I found them. And then I just thank God. I was like, oh my gosh, God, like that was you. So back to the podcast from yesterday. You're going to hear in just a moment the letter that we got from one of the people that we have helped through I'm Changing the Narrative, and what your dollar supports. And so I want to let you know that when you donate to the I'm Changing the Narrative through the ticket link below, you will be redirected to the Zeffy site, Zeffy, Zeffy, and all of that money goes into the nonprofit and allows us to help people, to pay for and travel, whatever it is, to trainings where they don't have a budget. It allows us to, we've helped people get therapy. We have housed people in times of crisis. We have fed them, and that's what that money goes to. And so I just want you to hear this right now of this letter, because, and I went live and talked about it on Instagram yesterday because it just blew me away. So take a listen to this letter. Get your tissues, because this is what we do at I'm Changing the Narrative. This is 10 years of I'm Changing the Narrative, and this is what we do. You're having a great morning. I have to read you something, and I always say this whenever I do lives that I'm only going to be on a moment, but I literally am going to be on like less than 10 minutes because I have to get out the door to a class and whatnot. But I want to read you something that I just got from one of our athletes. And so I know that there are people that don't know exactly what we do. Like they know that I speak. They see speaking clips. Hey, Bridget, they see speaking clips. They see those things. They don't know exactly what we do. But I have a movement called I'm Changing the Narrative. And we've been around, it's a group thing, have been around for 10 years. This is our 10-year anniversary. And I'm having an event on Amelia Island in 38 days, and it's to benefit our nonprofit. Oh, thank you. It's to benefit our nonprofit. And here's what, I'm going to get right to the chase. Here's what you support. When you support us, when you make a donation, when you support us, when you reshare my stuff, when you tell somebody I want to have her in to speak, whether it's healthcare, whether it's a prison, whether it's a high school, whether it's a college. I work with the 49ers. I'm very sad for the Jags. Also work with them too. But this is what you support. You ready for this? I'm probably going to cry my eyeballs out. So just FYI, I literally just got this. Okay. Dear I'm Changing the Narrative. First and foremost, I want to express my eternal gratitude to the foundation and to each and every one of the esteemed members. Rachel, Jennifer, and the countless others I now hold as family. Your compassion and unwavering support during my darkest hours have touched me deeply. In moments of distress, when I felt utterly destitute, I'm Changing the Narrative reached out with a hand that stretched beyond measure. They showed me my worth when I couldn't see it myself. In my isolation and my homelessness, because we support people in times of crisis with therapy, with if they're temporarily homeless, we do free trainings. This is what you support. I learned how special I am, why I should never give up. I know they didn't mean it in the way that my parents might have when they boast about me to others, sometimes feeling as if their words are forced or insincere. No, I'm Changing the Narrative helped me see that I am the light. I am that light. They dropped everything to lean in to my pain, offering resources, shelter, food, and funds to ensure that I had what I needed to keep fighting. In a world shrouded in darkness, they came and kept a smile on my face. A statement that Rachel spoke to me still echoes. I want you to promise me this when it gets hard, and I know it will, and it probably still is right now. You use more of your muscles when you smile. Stretch it. I haven't even read this yet. Stretch it so wide that it hurts. And remember, when you grow older and see the wrinkles around your mouth, it's from smiling through the pain. And now I pass that smile forward with hope and resilience. For 3 to 6 months, I received calls, messages, and words of encouragement and reassurance and love, reminding me that I'm not alone. Please, to anyone reading this, the I'm Changing the Narrative is an organization that every church in America should model. It's a reflection of God's face, manifest through real people who carry His love. During my fiercest storm, losing my license, my job, and my home, I felt as if I couldn't get through. Questions haunted me daily. How will I pay for my license renewal? How do I pay my school fees? How do I find a place to rebuild my life? Yet amidst this chaos, God placed these incredible individuals in my life, walking with me, fighting with me. I didn't want to accept their help. I was losing myself and losing hope, but they persisted. They saw the pain etched on my face, the pain I tried so desperately to hide. They saw the struggles I couldn't pronounce, the silent suffering behind a brave face. Now I stand here no longer defined by my hardships, but renewed by the love, belief, and faith they gave me. I am not alone. I'm loved. I'm blessed. I'm restored. The I'm Changing the Narrative group gave me friends and family when I thought I had none. Y'all, this player, I met him in 2018, and I spoke at his school. And then 2 years later, he reached back out to me, a year and a half later, and said, "You saved my life." And I'm like, what? It is like, the words that you spoke to me saved my life. And so then he has served and been around, and I'm keeping him anonymous on purpose. But he's served and been around, and we love him. And so he was a D1. He is a D1 college athlete going for more schooling. and he just had a series of bad things happen to him. And who amongst us hasn't had a perfect storm of crap? Like who amongst us hasn't had that happen where it's just, hey D, that's another one of our kings. Who amongst us has not had a perfect storm? D, if you have not listened to my last podcast, you may recognize some words in there. You should listen to it. But who amongst us hasn't had the perfect storm of crap, And this player had the perfect storm of crap. He had a roommate that said, hey, I want my girlfriend to move in, and so I need you to move out like now. It was not his fault. He had an issue with his license. He got robbed. His car was broken into, and it was just a perfect storm of crap. And myself, and I'm really proud of this, myself and my group, and I'm changing the narrative. We just went into overdrive. We called churches. We did so many things, and at the end of the day, through the foundation, we made sure that he had food and that he had a roof over his head until he got on his feet, until he got another place to live, and we got him back to his home state to get his license renewed, because it had to be there, had to be taken care of there before he got it taken care of in the state he currently resides in. And we just walked with him the whole way. And so he just wrote us that letter. And just all the feels. So if you've ever wondered what I'm changing the narrative does, if you've ever wondered who we are, besides just going to a school and talking, or going to a company and talking, or whatever it is, if you've ever wondered who we are, that is who we are. That is what we do. That is why we exist. And that is why I left sportscasting. That's why people ask me all the time, do you miss sportscasting? Well, do you want to go back? No, I don't, because of letters like that that say, you saved my life. So, it's Tuesday. I just wanted to give you a reason to smile, maybe shed a few tears, but I just wanted to tell you who we are. If you follow me and you're like, I don't really know why I follow her, but I followed her. I don't really know much about her, blah, blah, blah. I know she wrote a book. I know she's like, this is me. This is why I exist. In addition to being a wife and a mom, this is why I exist. And this is why I love sportscasting. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to go keep my appointment, but I just wanted to come on here and share this because it was beautiful. Pretty amazing, huh? So the last thing I want to share, and I promised to share, was my day yesterday. And I don't know, I just told somebody this morning as I was coaching them, I don't know any other way to be other than just mask off real. And to tell you the truth. And I also have a friend named Ashley. Thank you. I love you, Ashley, who has told me, she's like, look, you have an uncanny ability to be able to look at something or something, you go through something and you coach from it. You take something from it, you teach from it. And I do. And so yesterday morning, I had a call with a gentleman that I had met through LinkedIn, through some friends, a group I'm in, and we had a call. And about 5 minutes into the call, it had nothing to do with him. I started having an internal dialogue. Love you, Dan. So thanks for letting me tell this story. I had an internal dialogue with myself that, Rachel, you're too busy. Rachel, you have too much going on. You have a book due August 1st. You have a retreat coming up. You have you're raising 4 kids. You're married. You are coaching people with your consulting client. You're too busy. You should take this call at another time. And so that's what I said to myself at the beginning. But then I said, but you're here. So be present and give this person your full attention. Well, what had happened was, as the call goes on, I recognize that this person is a complete synergistic soul, is very similar to me. It's out there in the world. Sometimes I can't keep my thoughts straight because Dwight is staring back at me from the office on my sweatshirt, but that's okay. And I love Dwight and I love the office. It's one of my forms of self-care and soul care. And if I'm particularly, my ADD brain on this episode is all over the place, just stay with me. Just stay with me. Because we ADDers, we eventually get it done. And y'all know my style anyway. So I recognize that we are synergistically like aligned. He's changing the world. And as the call goes on, he tells me about some things he's putting on. And I tell him about my events. And then he talks to me about his nonprofit has to do with sensory issues and making this okay for people. I think he said 1 in 4 who have sensory issues to some degree, and making it and not just okay, but enjoyable experience at sporting events, at concerts, at those things. And then he tells me about an event he's having. And then he tells me about something he's doing in Birmingham, which I'm not at liberty to say yet. And I immediately start thinking about my 2 friends, Bryce and Al, who are both blind, but the most phenomenal human beings, smart. Bryce has called a baseball game. He has called a basketball game, y'all, and he is blind. And now he is an advocate all over the country for making things accessible through sports teams, speaking. He has a nonprofit. He's been responsible for Braille on the back of jerseys in MLB. He is amazing. And then Al is my lifelong friend, y'all, who my mom befriended in college. She went back to college in her 30s. Go Georgia. And she met Al, and she and Al became lifelong friends. And a fun fact, when I was younger, I created a game in the science project when that was happening at school that was like the match game where you pick it up and look at the matches, but I did it with smells, and on the back was Braille. And I always thought I should try to invent that game, and maybe I will one day, but Al was my show and tell person. So Al has been in my life for a long time. And the reality is that these 2 men that are friends of mine are the reason why I take a lot of extra time to make sure that my newsletter is accessible. I try to write alt text, which you can do this too. But both of these men have been discriminated against, and you would not think it, but there is still a ton of discrimination against people with disabilities. Think about, have you heard for people how hard it is to travel with wheelchairs, that builders and businesses don't think about those things, and sometimes. And so as he's talking, I'm thinking he has to meet Al. He has to meet Bryce. This is a beautiful connection. And I'm so overwhelmed that I start crying. I'm like, I get it, Dan. Like, this was not about us. Like, this meeting was not about us. It was about me, for me, at least from my side. It was about me meeting you so I could connect you to Al and Bryce, and they could enrich your life and you could fall in love with them. And maybe there's a place to work together and better their life. So that was the first call. And I was like, I just got off and I was like, okay, God, leave it to me. And I really don't know what's best for me. I really, I could have shut down. I could have skipped the call. I could have ended it early, but Dan is a wonderful human being. And I would have been doing myself such a disservice to not know this soul. And yeah, I will send my amazing podcast producer, Kim, his link to his event. He's having an event in Atlanta for sensory issues through his nonprofit in March. I'm going to try to be there. Big Boy's going to be there. If you're a business owner, or if this matters to you, we will link his nonprofit below in the show notes. So if that weren't enough, and this is how I want to finish this podcast, I go about my day. We're getting a lot done. A lot is happening with the retreat, which I will continue sharing on all my socials, all the great things that are happening. But one of the things that I'm doing this week, and I am so honored, is I am going back to Atlanta to speak for the 3rd time with Jeremy Anderson and his group Next Level. And that's 2. 3rd time. And this time it's for a conference called the 7-Figure Conference for speakers that are speaking in the NFL and the NBA and very high level things. And so I was honored, first of all, to be able to be asked to speak again, to be invited back. Y'all know I talk about that all the time. And so I'm getting ready for that, and I'm so excited for that. But yesterday afternoon, I had a call with a gentleman, and his name's Jude, and I spoke for a group that he is a part of 4 times last year. And the reason why I'm sharing this about going to Atlanta this weekend is I'm taking a lot of what I talked about with Jude, what I incorporate into my life. I'm taking it and speaking on it on stage, because as a speaker, to get invited back over and over and over again is huge. And so if you are a speaker, you can apply this to any part of your business. If you are a speaker, for example, I called this year and I called all of my people at HFMA, because I'm relational, not transactional, that I'd spoken for 4 times last year. And I said, I understand that you're likely not going to be able to have me in again this year, but can I recommend other speakers? I have a friend named Lauren Sisler, and I have this friend, and I have that friend. Can I recommend other speakers to you? 1. And 2, are there any other opportunities to be able to speak for other groups, or are there any other opportunities? And so in building those relationships, I had built a relationship with this gentleman, Jude, my brother in Christ, and we were just that was the original intent, to catch up. And in the midst of it, he starts telling me his life and what's going on and what's happening and his dreams and his hopes. And then I switch into like coaching Rachel, and I'm like, well, here's what I do, and here's some, and it was so symbiotic and so beautiful. And by the end of the call, I was like, God, I went for a speaking engagement, and you gave me a friend, and this friend is just such a blessing. And then even by the end of the call, I was just telling him about my retreat, and telling him about the things that we were doing, and how I needed his prayers, and just, more people praying over it, the better. And he says to me, we'll send the information to me and my wife, because we'd love to support you in any way we can. I'm like, what, God? Like, I set up this call to check in with my friend, to check in also and be a good steward of my speaking career, and just check in, right? And see if there's any other opportunities, and how can I bless you, and how can I pay it forward by sending you other speakers and blessing other people and throwing it back, right? Throw the rope back. And by the end of it, he's wanting to bless my nonprofit and my event and my movement. And I'm like, what? So y'all, that is what happened to me yesterday when you saw the beginning of this podcast, where I was just verklempt. I was overwhelmed. I was thankful. I'm just like, what, God? What are you doing? You are so amazing, and I'm so grateful for you. So that's it. That's what I got. This girl is about to go take a dog to the vet. I have my geriatric dog, Buddy, as most of y'all know. And we're about to go take him to the vet and get some diagnoses and make sure everything's okay. I'll share more about that later. But in the meantime, what you can do for me is just pray. Pray, please, for my event coming up. Because as I said in the beginning of this podcast, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. Baby, I have mowed over the corn. It's gone. I'm out on the branch. I can't come back. And I can't, I'm out there. And it's scary, but I was called to do this, and this is not for me. None of this benefits me. It benefits mental health resources, and it benefits this community, and helps other people. And so I'm out there. So if you'll pray for me and pray for the people that will attend, and oh my gosh, I'm praying over every single one of them at the gala and the retreat, and pray for people to attend, that would be so amazing. And if you feel like you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, we would absolutely love that too. The link is below. Even if you can't attend, you can make a tax-deductible donation. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please share this with 5 people, 10 people. That's the way that we grow this podcast. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. Mwah! Love you guys.